Are we going to call this a Ninjago-inspired WB logo? I think we are. Huh. Little expectation subversion right out of the gate. It was kind of a secret in the Lego movie that their universe actually exists inside ours. Acknowledging it works and foreshadows Meowthra. He might not be jumping through ladder rungs anymore, but Jackie Chan is still doing his own stunts. And of course, Master Wu made the cat the villain.
Real monster. You must forget everything you know.
Like the fact that there's also a TV show, because we ain't going there. Except for the basic premise and character names. It's hard for a 90-minute movie to be tied into the continuity of multiple TV seasons. I get it. But you also alienated the majority of your target demo by throwing out the lore that they love and very much exists, and even worse, seems to be changed to be more like the movie? Eesh. Can we call that a match cut? Since we just changed dimensions? Either way, smooth transition to the Lego universe. Improved Whistler's mother for sure, but I'm more impressed by Mona's side-eye over here.
When will he upgrade to digital?
No, I would never do that.
I've asked this question before, but is this art imitating life, or was the vinyl purist ninja written for Fred Armisen? I miss Portlandia.
Is he a real boy or a robot?
How dare you? I'm a wild teen.
And another. I don't think anyone ever called Gabe Lewis a robot, but it wouldn't have been a stretch. Also, it's nice to see Dinesh and Jared getting along. Look, the water mech is great, but the fact that it brings back horrid memories of those little water striders that run on top of the water. Who would have thought they bite you when you try to push them underwater? I know it's just a foregone conclusion at this point that the Lego people will be photo-real, but I'll never stop being impressed by the texture on the plastic, the seams from the molds, the scuffs and scratches from use, or in this case, ninja-ing. And when they're not showing the insane level of detail on the Lego pieces, it's because they're doing a realistic monitor scanning effect and showing the screen resolution. And speaking of things I have already and will continue to praise Lego movies for, always so much going on in every shot. First time I saw this movie, I was pretty much fixated on the beautiful sun behind a clothesline as a bird lands. I also briefly noticed the guy whipping out his pants with the feet built in, 'cause obvi. But also, there's this guy waking up, she's combing her hair, and she's taking a sip of her coffee as her cat comes into the window. Never ceases to amaze. Even if you don't consciously notice it all, every background detail helps your brain to accept this as a real location when everything else is screaming, the scale is weird, they have no fingers, shrugging and arm movements like this would rip your arms out of your sockets. I know enough to know that that's a TV theme song. Fair play. Volcano Jammies.
These are the best years of your life.
When are we gonna stop telling kids that? It's nice encouragement, but guys, life gets harder, but also easier and better. And listen, I had a great high school experience. I even married my high school girlfriend. So enjoy high school for sure, but know that if you're not having the greatest time, the best is yet to come. Ha, Green Ninja behind the Green Ninja. Oh man, is that the Pixies logo? High school is a good time to learn about consent. Also, this kid hates his lunch. Also, is that Bender from Breakfast Club? Even basketballs hate Lloyd.
Boo Lloyd! Boo Lloyd!
Randall Park never ceases to make funny what shouldn't even be funny. And the boo slides right into the alarm siren.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Thankfulness.
Ice mech. Loading. Loading. Loading.
Even the movie gets impatient with Zane and has to move on to the next ninja. I know, some of you love to give me a hard time because you think fully digital long takes aren't impressive. Here's me disagreeing. Either way, it's still fun to watch. You know, Lego Movie color palettes can be a little abrasive at times, but this is a little toned down and they use that to make the fast action engaging. Also, grab gun. And Secret Ninjas doing elemental damage inside their mechs montage is the fastest way to notice how Transformers-y this is. Hey, low blow. They can't help it.
Well, if you can see me, why don't you shoot me?
Amenability.
It's one of those places where you don't even get a menu.
Omakase?
Is that the name of the place?
No, that just means he brings it to you and you don't choose.
Sushi lessons, which makes sense in a very Japanese-inspired city.
That I had in my life.
What happened to your child?
Also, the boss's secret garden will always work in these scenes, even if like 90% of us just immediately think of Jerry Maguire. Which, wasn't that scene in Lego Batman? Am I noticing a theme here? Is Tom Cruise gonna be in the next Lego movie?
Heat bombs. Some rockets, one illness, first rocket missile, other illness, double illness.
Thoroughness. Will Lego helm times 6.
Day to retirement.
Times 7.
The victory cake goes back in the fridge.
This entire entrance is just a string of underling jokes.
By the fireplace.
Is that the room with the lava or the room where people get fired?
It's both.
Shock.
Emotionality. I like how the idea of scars and wrinkles from old age are translated to more beat-up Lego pieces with gouges and little kid grime.
Ninja nuity.
Stealing that for later.
Surprise?
No, that's the future ninja.
Surprise!
Clairvoyance. BoJack Horseman is the ultimate weapon.
I'm super old.
Honesty. Hard Knock Life on flute. What more can I say? Well, I could mention Greg Patillo, the beatbox flutist who played that amazing piece. The entire island of Ninjago was mostly built digitally before any animation or filming had started. They actually scouted the city like any IRL location, and it shows in the insane level of detail and gloriously lit sunset giving way to the neon glow of the city. One of those details you can't even see unless you scrub frame by frame. Quality.
I'm pretty sure Lloyd's nervous.
That's crazy, Doc.
Incorrect.
Astute observations. I know this is terrible, but there's just something about that Lego guy just bailing. I think the expression about succeeding in business is think like a shark, not be a shark. Anyone else get a Shredder vibe from Garmadon's mech?
Why is your hand behind your back? What are you doing back there?
You know, I wasn't sure if Dave Franco was the right pick for this part, but he's actually really good. He brings a detached sort of humor to the Lego world that's unique. Getting attacked by a giant cat is terrible, but I'm more worried about the permanent damage being done to their little Lego eyes. The absurd and the epic all rolled into one shot.
How could I ruin your life? I wasn't even there.
And it takes a special kind of person to be charming, but also so stinging and oblivious. Justin Theroux is just another perfect cast.
What happened to us? I miss that fire.
Hint at Coco's secret past identity. Inserts you just don't expect to see in a Lego movie. The cinematography really goes above and beyond.
Hello, student.
Master Wu's alive. Multiple spiders on Jay's back. A traversing the jungle montage set to Welcome to the Jungle played again on beatbox flute is the fastest way to make me want to learn to beatbox flute. I'll always give them credit for not cheating. Instead of closing the claw and, well, breaking his hand, they just turn it sharply to create the illusion of snatching fingers.
Blend in the shadows.
Stealth skills. Poking fun at the Kung Fu super close-up. They were actually moving towards each other. Ninjanuity. As much as you can make two Lego guys fighting interesting and fun to watch, they pretty much nail it. And it gets really crazy when you start going frame by frame when you actually see that even though it's entirely digital, they made digital stop motion with pieces imposed to imply movement, even having two Master Wus at times. So I kind of enjoy that for the most part there really isn't much of a contest between Wu and Garmadon. He mostly wipes the floor with him. And then it's just a silly butterfly that Garmadon tricks Wu into being afraid of. I guess that's why they call it
The bridge of falling mentors.
Why is he bringing these things up so late in our adventure?
the best kind of lampshading. And I still love it. It's becoming a meta thing for Lego movies to do. You acknowledge that it's a silly trope, you'll always get a chuckle.
Why are there so many one-star reviews?
Well, you know what they say about critics. They vary. Stop trying to pigeonhole people.
Were you like, yes, this is awesome? Or were you
No,
like,
at
oh,
first
no.
I was like totally freaked out. And sometimes I get self-conscious about it.
You know, no one ever asks the tough questions. Moral is, kids, don't feel bad about your extra appendages.
I love your bad boy charm.
That's what it is, bad boy charm. That's like Justin Theroux's superpower. Even the scary scene is filmed like a live-action scary scene with the uncomfortable close-ups and lurking point of views.
You gotta get yourself a volcano, kid.
Real estate advice.
What's up?
Smoothness. So that's the one where David Carradine gets revenge? That's like halfway to being a ninja.
We can build a way out of here.
I know that I'm always commenting on the interconnectivity through the Legoverse, but there's no real reason for ninjas who just happen to be made of Lego pieces to have the whole master builder thing. But they do, because it's the same universe. I like it.
You got this. Do it.
Encouragement.
Something's happening to my face. Oh, I think they deployed nerve gas.
Smiling.
I looked. I have no arm. But it's only gonna hurt for a second, right?
They always say right what you know. Jackie does.
For a second. No, this is gonna be agony for a while.
Honesty that only a true non-parent would display.
Oh, wish your mom was here to do this.
You're killing me. You gotta just do it.
Again, this scene is being dragged out just a touch. I'll admit it. But Dave and Justin make it bearable.
It was pretty good.
It may feel alright, but it'll never stay in the same again. True of Legos and humans. Love the subtle movement of the hat vibrating, showing the wind blowing. There's a little bit of 300, a little Lord of the Rings, even a little OG Dracula in this scene. And I just don't hate seeing all those iconic things in Lego.
I asked her if she fought here often.
Pick-up line lessons? And there's swords made of heart. Oh my gosh, it's actually called omakase. And it was important to him because of Coco.
she was gone.
I'm still not totally sympathetic towards Garmadon, but at least he was honest with who he was at the time and allowed Coco to be as well. But don't get too serious on us, here are some flaming tears.
This rocks!
It's funny because Earth, but also music. I do love some good wordplay.
H2O!
Alright, you're pushing it.
Cool.
Ah, you got me again. Also, oh man, the aspect ratio changes so that the elements can actually leave the frame. Dolly zoom in a Lego movie.
Father. And General Number 1.
Okay, so now it's official. There's a little Star Wars at play here.
We can rule Ninjago together.
It started with this,
You just have to look at it from a different point of view.
and then again,
Until you see things from a different point of view.
and now the all-in-black bad guy wants his just-in-training, flowing blonde-haired son to join him in ruling? You may not expect to get attention-building allegiance shift in your Lego movie, but you're gonna get one.
No.
And it's heartbreaking to see Lloyd still clinging to the idea that his father isn't a bad guy, even though he knows what's about to happen.
I got it!
Predictable, but regrettable.
Because they hadn't got to the catching section of father-son time yet.
Harness what you already have inside and...
You know, I got excited when I read that Mark Mothersbaugh composed the score, but I feel like he was held back a lot. Still, the epic swelling of this track is epic.
Yes, you have the power! I've got the power!
I also love that the joke song from the Jungle Walk, just like everything Master Wu said, actually had meaning. Rather, it was the meaning. And listen to that score.
I think I made it worse!
Can't all be winners.
Great job, students!
Master Wu's alive. Mia didn't need to be chased by 60s flying saucer guys. Zane didn't need his super suit. Kai didn't need a New Zealand accent or a lovable if flawed mentor. Jay didn't even need his older sister to rip out his eye. And Cole didn't need 34 other earthbenders to move one rock. Also teamwork.
Oh, I can use my fire! But is that too much?
Whoops, a writer's room conversation made its way into the script. But it actually works out really well that instead of trying to fight the cat, they combine the father-son conflict resolution and Lloyd trying to calm the cat down. Also, I'm not going to knock seamless blending between IRL and Lego CGI.
They see a monster. Just want to say that I forgive you. I'm sorry when I said I wish you weren't my father.
I'll be honest, at first I was a little annoyed. It's not on kids to reach out to their absentee parents, and no one ever has to apologize to a parent that abandoned them. Still, I like the little twist that Lloyd is able to reach out to his dad because he's been ostracized his entire life, even if it's because of his dad. Forgiveness is always going to be a win, and no matter how much none of this is Lloyd's fault, he still chooses to rise above.
I need my dad.
And at the end of the day, that's something we can all relate to. Hugging. And almost hugging. I'll just leave this here. Theorize amongst yourselves who the real Lloyd is.
I'm a ninja now?
No. All you did was to listen to a story.
Honesty. Great reflexes from Karate Kid 5 or 6, I lost count.
Can we bring the cat?
You get a yup. And a pretty great song explaining each character in a Lego instruction book style. See what I mean? Never even heard of a stunt double. Though I guess his dad failed him too. Nah, he's got it. I'm not the first to say that the Lego Ninjago movie is probably the weakest of the Lego movie films so far, which isn't even remotely a dig. But it looks unlikely that Lego Movie 2 isn't at least more fun. The story is a little wonky if I'm being honest, and some of the emotional beats, while they did ultimately land, felt a little rushed. Whereas other times things feel stretched. I think a lot of that can be attributed to this being targeted more towards kids than the other two films and locking in a 100-minute runtime. I still enjoyed a lot of the movie, and the voice acting is right up there with Chris Pratt and Will Arnett, specifically Justin and Dave. All that said, the film is beautiful and very well crafted. In fact, it's the details I want to start with this time because there are so many, like how both the water and fire fell and burned respectively at the correct scale. I mean, where another filmmaker may have tried to push the scale to a human size, Bean and his team embraced the mini size. The insane level of detail that goes into each piece and each set. I mean, the kitchen has subway tile in it. And just like the movies that came out before, you can go through this movie and only watch the background and find something new every time. Like fish jumping out of the water, the sticker with Cole's records behind him, this guy falling off the roof and then hearing him land a little later. The out-of-focus volcano spewing lava behind Lloyd. And is it just me, or is this Candace's business partner Tony from Women in Women First Bookstore? And per usual, it's a funny one, from the overt to the subtle.
I'll increase the pressure dramatically.
Is that green ninja still staring at me?
Yes, sir.
Ugh, what a weirdo.
You're not on the list. Oh, my clipboard.
Where are your little ninja nerd? Where are your little ninja nerds? Nailed it.
Just a little bit.
You see what I mean about the weak voice? That's how he talks.
Do it again?
Even the chants get a chuckle out of me.
We are going to kill them. Oops, we shouldn't have said that.
While obviously the comedy is in large part thanks to the writing, the actors played a huge part. They spent a lot of time recording them together in the same room, which isn't something you often get, but it shows.
I'm not your father, all right?
Is that a weird thing for him to say to us?
There are times you can tell they're riffing off of each other, or scenes that were animated after a bunch of ad-libbing, another thing that rarely happens. I know, I imagine some of you are mad that I didn't point out show/movie differences, but I'm not knowledgeable enough about the show to do it justice. And I know that a lot of you are upset the movie changed some of the lore, so that sucks. I'll just say that I hope you can still enjoy the show and that the movie universe doesn't impact it too much. The themes and messages were pretty in your face, but like I said, unlike the Lego Movie and the Lego Batman movie, this one is targeted a little bit more towards children. So it wasn't a huge surprise when Lloyd started explaining to all the ninjas that the ultimate weapons were inside them all along, as well as the big slow-down heart-to-heart at the end. I don't hate it, and their performances and the score sold it. So no real big misstep yet for the Lego Movie makers. And the Lego Movie 2 is at least loved by critics so far. I'm looking forward to it, and I'd watch a sequel to this movie as well, even if I'd be surprised to hear it was greenlit. Ooh, what's this? No. Anyway, someone mentioned that sponsors and teaser frames have become mutually exclusive last week, and I don't like that. So I'm sorry. Teaser frames, no matter what from now on. Even though this one wouldn't have been much fun. And even this one is probably pretty obvious.
Follower, or do you want to be a leader?
Leader?
You're fired.
I mean, follower!